Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi hadana lihada wa ma kunna linahtadiya laula an hadanallah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma shalli ala Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man tabi'ahu bi ihsan ila yaumiddin, amma ba'du. Hello everybody. Thank you for joining to our class in process control in chemical engineering. The first topic is introduction to process control. Introduction to process control. In chemical engineering, there are a number of units. For example, reactor, distillation column, pump, compressor, etc. In a chemical plant, we have the several units where that assemble in the process to produce some products from the raw material. That is the objective of the plant. The objective of the plant. What is the objective of the plant? What is the objective of the plant? The basically objective of the plant is to change the input. The input must be raw material, and then the output is product. Basically, how we produce a product from the raw material using available energy. In most economic way. That is the basically objective of the plant. How we produce a product from raw material using energy in economic way or in efficient as possible. Yes. To meet this objective, we need some requirement. To meet this objective, to produce the product from raw material using available sources of energy in most economic way, to meet this, we need some requirement. The primary requirement is safety. For example, we have a reactor which is designed to operate in 20 atmosphere. To maintain the reactor to operate in 20 atmosphere, we need some external intervention. When the reactor, the pressure of reactor is below of the 20 atmosphere. We need to action to make the pressure into 20 atmosphere. That is the safety. Because when the reactor operates below 20 atmosphere, the reaction not occur. So we have to maintain the pressure of the reactor to 20 atmosphere. To maintain this condition, we need some external intervention. When the pressure of the reactor go below 20 atmosphere. The second requirement is the product specification. What is the product specification? When we produce a product, we have a quantity, and the quality. We have to maintain our process to meet the quantity and quality that we want to produce. The third requirement is environmental requirement. Environmental requirement, we have to meet the state's regulation or laws. We have to meet these laws or regulation from our states. For example, we have to maintain the concentration of chemical. We have to maintain the concentration of sulfide when we wash to atmosphere. Or we have to maintain the wash water to meet the regulation, environment regulation. The next important requirement is operational constraint. The plant have the certain constraint inherent in this process. For example, we have the distillation column. We have to maintain this column, operation of this column, to be not flooded. The second example is tanks. We have to maintain the tank to be not overflow or go dry. This is the constraint of the process, for example, in tanks. We have to maintain the tank so the tank should not overflow or go dry. And the third example for catalytic system, catalytic reaction, we have to maintain the temperature. because we have the temperature limit. We have to meet this limit because when the offer the limit, the temperature is over the limit, the catalyst will be destroyed. The catalyst, when the temperature go up of the limit, the temperature upper limit, the catalyst will be destroyed. That is the example operational constraint. The next requirement is economic. What is our requirement in economics? For example, we have to maintain the process to minimum of operating costs or maximum profit and etc. This is the economics goal of our process. We have to maintain our process to make the minimum of operating costs or the maximum profit. That is all of the requirement for our process. We have 5 requirements. The firstly is safety, and the secondly is product specification, thirdly environmental requirement, and then the operational constraint, and finally the economy. To meet this all requirement, we have to act. We have to act to the process, the external intervention. What is the external intervention? The external intervention, the main of the external intervention, that is the control. We have to control the process. We have to control the process. That means we have act some external intervention to the process. That is the control process. Yeah. Control process to act some external intervention. We have to intervene. We have to intervene to the system to meet all these requirements. So, we have to control the process. What does it mean about to control the process? Control the process, that means we have to design the act, the activity, the action from the equipment control, to make the intervention to the process. That we call this external intervention. In the next discussion is about the 3 important issues in control system. The firstly is the influence of external disturbances. The influence of external disturbance. And the second issue is the stability of a chemical process. And the finally issues is the performance of a chemical process. Okay, that is the three issues in control system. The issues in control system. Firstly is the influence of the external disturbance. What is the influence of the external disturbance? How the external disturbance influence the process. And the second, the stability of the process itself. And the thirdly, the performance of the process itself. These issues consider to the control system. Okay. We have to consider these issues in the control system design. What is the disturbances? In control system, a disturbance input is a variable that affects the process output, but that cannot be adjusted by the control system. Disturbance input, we have the disturbance input is a variable that affects to the process to the process output, but cannot be adjusted by the control system. The definition of this disturbance. Disturbance input is a variable that affects to the process output but cannot be adjusted by the control system. We can illustrate here when we have a process. We know that in the process we have the input variable and we got the output variable. The disturbance is the condition that influence to the input and influence to the process. So the disturbance will affect to the output. Because the disturbance cannot be adjusted by the control system have to act some action. And what is this action from the control system to anticipate or to reduce the disturbance, to reduce effect output by the disturbance? The control system may be manipulate the input. So the input can reduce the disturbance, can reduce effect of the output variable by the disturbance. That is the principle control system work. The control system will adjust the manipulated variable to reduce the disturbance effect to the output variable. The input variable that manipulated by the control system, we call this the input variable as manipulated variable. So we have the input variable to the process, and we have another input variable to the process that we call the manipulated variable. And the manipulated variable will be adjusted by the control system. Manipulated variable adjusted by the control system. As a response of the control system to the disturbance. This is the disturbance. There are 3 disturbance types in the control system. 3 disturbance types. 3 disturbance types in the control system. Firstly, disturbance can occur when the change in set point. The set point is the desired value. The set point is the desired value of the measured variable. This is desired value of the measured variable. When we change the set point, so the system will dynamic change, not steady state, because changing in the set point. And the second, the disturbance type can occur when we change in supply. What does it mean about this change in supply? Change in supply, that means variation in input. Variation in input. Might be variation flow rate or variation temperature or variation in concentration, etc. And then the third disturbance can be occurred when change in demand. Does it mean about change in demand? Demand is output variable. That means we set the output variable into another value. So we will make the disturbance to the system. And the system will in dynamic condition. We know that the control system is to keep the system in stability, in steady state. The steady state is the stable system. The control system is maintained to the system to be in steady state condition. But there are three changing in the set point, supply and demand will make the disturbance to the system. And the controller must be manipulate some variable to anticipate this disturbance condition from the three causes: set point, supply, and demand. Okay, that is the introduction to the process control. We have to study about the objective of the process and the requirement, and then we pre-introduction to the disturbance in the process. Okay, we will continue in the next topic in the next week. Thank you very much for your attention.